Okay, I'm Canadian. I might strike a nerve with you on this. The European Journal of Preventive Cardiology released a study that was, there were about 1,200 people in this study. Now, this study started 2005, 2006. They asked them some questions. Have you ever smoked marijuana? Here in Canada, it's not decriminalized yet. We're working on legalization. How there are a lot of companies trading on the exchanges that there's marijuana everywhere. Weeds everywhere. It is what it is. The United States has their stuff going on. It's not federally legal down there. Don't think the federal government couldn't come into your pretty little state and shut that down. But the states, there's individual states that have decriminalized marijuana. They're making good tax money. It's great. There's a bit of a hindrance. European Journal of Preventive Cardiology, 1,200 people. They found that out of those 1,200, roughly 1,200 people, just a little over 1,200 people, that they on average smoked marijuana for 11 and a half years in their lifetime. Those same people were more likely to die. That's a hard word. They're more likely to die 3 times, a little over 3 times, more likely to die from high blood pressure, heart attack, hypertension. Where's the correlation? I don't know. I don't know where the correlation is. I do know that when you start talking about Western civilization and you start talking about people dying of heart disease, ultimately, we'll call it heart disease as a blanket term. That's already our number one problem here. The problem here is people do not take care of themselves. They do not take care of their bodies. This is the one vehicle you're going through life with, bro. You're driving this into the ditch? Come on now. You got to think this through a little bit. Whoever you are out there that might be listening, more chances than not, if you're listening to stock market news on YouTube, you're probably someone who's maybe got some stuff already together, because you're definitely pursuing some higher education, and you don't strike me as probably someone who's maybe not thinking things through as much. But nobody had this idea about marijuana before. There was no correlation with this. There were incidental studies over in Europe that I've seen that it can drum up mental health issues. If you're predisposed or already have underlying issues with anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, any of that kind of stuff, it can definitely exacerbate that kind of things. There's more than enough studies that say that, but we've never had anything that's actually said that, hey, this obviously can affect your heart. What? My heart? How? Is it the smoking? Is it the smoke? What is it that's doing that? I don't know. I'm sure the evidence will start to trickle in, but what does this mean for legalization in Canada? What does this mean for the United States? We're suffering from a heart disease epidemic. Maybe it's just one of those things. But I don't think ever at any point in time that state taxes made off the sale of marijuana in any quantity to any amount of people at any point in time will ever make you the money back that you lose on people dying from heart disease. So, would you sell something to people that has 3 times the likelihood of giving them heart disease, of giving them risk to die from heart disease? At what point in time does morality get involved? There's already smokes for sale. There's liquor. I could drink the bleach under my sink if I wanted to. That sounds delicious. You could do anything you want. You could stuff your face full of hamburgers. You do whatever you want. But the biggest bane, I've done life insurance. You know what? You smoke, you get sick from smoking, your mortality rate you're done quick. People who have heart disease, have blood pressure issues, they can be a issue on healthcare for years, 20, 30 years. This can be a problem. They can become unemployed. There's so many issues that can creep up from this. Do we want to give people the green light to go ahead and spark it up and get high so that they can get worse? People, society as a whole, as a overall figure, will get progressively worse, much like we've seen with a much more sedentary society, a much more busy society, a society where stress, I'm sure cortisol levels are up through the roof, and people treat themselves with food that kills them, cigarettes that kill them, alcohol that kills them, a lifestyle that's not good for you. What do we want to add this in? The money that they make tax-wise in any state is never, ever, ever going to make a dent in what heart disease does. I don't know. This is a big study. European Journal of Preventive Cardiology. Look it up. Read some stuff. I don't know, how does this play out for companies in Canada like Canopy or Aurora, some of the bigger companies that are ultimately supplying. They're basically large publicly traded grow ops. That's what these companies are. They're supplying all these head shops, or whatever you want to call them, whatever fun name you want to give it. It's out there. You're getting inebriated. It is what it is. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I don't care. You do whatever you like to do, just like I'm going to do whatever I like to do. But as a whole, shouldn't we take care of our fellow man? Isn't that kind of our obligation a little bit? We already have all these other things entrenched. We're making taxes off, but ultimately they're hurting people. If there's something that we could just say, hey, Europe is the most liberal that there is. They're not going out of their way to come up with this study to try to make it more difficult for you to have fun. They have no agenda. Their agenda is that this is what the medical research is saying to them. We haven't done research in Canada because it's illegal. And that's what happens. When we just say things are illegal, we're so smart that we just refuse to study them it doesn't matter what restrictions are placed on whatever university or lab studies things. You just can't have them to study them. The same goes in the United States. There have been no controlled studies because this stuff's all been scheduled drugs for years, forever. So some states have legalized it. This could be a real game changer. This could be a real game changer for legalization. If this ends up holding the type of water that it's been reported today, if it ends up holding the type of water in the long run, and we find that there's nothing that's been skewed in this study, but this is straight up the fact that this does this for whatever the catalyst or catalysts are that they say, the legalization of marijuana could find itself in some pretty serious jeopardy. I don't want to have a heart attack, do you?